right, we're here. So I just got back from a 2,400 mile road trip for work where this happened. All right, so we were charging and then one of the whole banks went off. Even though I'm a new EV owner, this isn't my first EV road trip. I've done 2 trips to Nashville that was about 300 miles round trip, and a Model 3 and a Chevy Bolt, and then one in this Tesla Model Y to Chicago, which was like 500-ish miles round trip. And that Chevy Bolt trip that I mentioned earlier, that was to help us decide between a Bolt and a Tesla, to see if we were okay with 55 kilowatts and to see if we were okay with the CCS network. And well, I think you see how that turned out. But taking a trip to Chicago and a trip to Nashville is very different than a 1,164 mile trip to Bismark, North Dakota. Originally, I was going to take this 06 F-150 with the V8 Triton in it, but Andre asked me, are we going to take the Tesla? And I thought, I wonder if I can fit all the stuff in there. So after a quick test run, I decided it was time to experience a real EV road trip. Tesla loaded up, about as loaded up as it can be. Frunk is full. The whole back is full with the trunk and sub-trunk being full. Obviously, I've already planned everything out in the Tesla nav and ABRP to get a sense of what it was going to be like. And practically, I knew what 1 to 2, 10 to 15 minute stops looked like on a 5-hour trip. But how would I feel about 6 to 7 stops that are 15 to 25 minutes over a 17-hour journey? And again, my concern isn't really whether we're going to actually make it to North Dakota or not. It's more of, am I going to regret paying extra for the road tripability factor of the Tesla? And will I wish I would have bought a Chevy Bolt instead? I guess we'll find out. We just finished our shoot in North Dakota. So I didn't really plan on this being a full-fledged road trip video, so I did a pretty terrible job of filming from here in Louisville to Bismarck. So what you're going to see is after we finish our video shoot in Bismarck, coming back to Louisville. And on the way there is where we had that supercharger issue where we just moved over a couple spots and it ended up working fine. We didn't have any more charging issues after that for the rest of the trip. But don't worry, at the end of this video I'm going to show you some stats on how this trip would have compared to driving the truck and a few other cars. We just finished our shoot in North Dakota, and we are about to head back. So our first stop is in Minneapolis. Well, that's where our hotel is for tonight before we get all the way back to Louisville. Figured we could take a look at our route here. We're roasting those McNuggets. That's true. Our first stop here is in Jamestown, like I said. And then we're going to go all the way over to Minneapolis for the night. So we're probably going to stop 3 times instead of 2 like it's suggesting, just to go a little bit faster. How do you reset stuff? Oh, it's down here. Great, time for the trip.
On the road with a motorbike, hanging around between the mountains, coast to coast, you know how to drive. Dragonflies are on the sunset, can you believe we're together? We're celebrating September. What do you mean it's forever? Forever is a time to be with you.
So we're here at the Jamestown Supercharger, first stop of the trip, and we don't actually have to be here very long. I think it's only for a few minutes because we have 28% battery because we're going to stop at Fargo on the way out. So maybe we'll only be here for about 7 minutes. I feel like the Burger King, so like there's the Burger King over there, is like too far away to be like super useful, you know? But I mean, it's like fine. I thought it's also like, no, this specific supercharger, Jamestown.
Yeah, it's not super.
It's not super?
It's not super, one. And then it's also not super friendly.
Yeah. I think
it's kind of cold.
It's kind of cold. That doesn't have anything to do with the supercharger. That has to do with North Dakota.
True. Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, I think we got like 3 minutes, so we got to pee pretty quick. So we're on our way back. We have like 1 minute before we have to leave. And it looks like it's time to unplug. So we're gonna get there about 10%. Gotta log our charge time and get going. are here at the Fargo Supercharger. We'll ride with about 7%. Let's check how we did. So we got here with 7%, 8%, whatever. And this was our efficiency from the last drive. We about added another 90 something miles. We got to be here for about 20 minutes, so we're gonna use the restroom. Actually, I don't have to pee, so we're probably just gonna get some dinner and go from there. From there, we have one more charging stop in Minneapolis, and we'll be at our hotel. So, McDonald's took way longer than it should have, and yeah, it was way to be extra creepy, but it was kind of the worst. So we were only supposed to charge 58%. We actually charged to 71. Sadly, there's not a lot of superchargers between here and, or like right after our next one. So I think we're just gonna have to charge less there. So anyway, we'll see you guys in a bit. All right, we are in Alexandria with another one of the push-up ones. This is our last stop. About 15 minutes to continue the trip. 160 miles till we get to our hotel. I think we're gonna try to figure out what we're gonna do.
Think about that medicine ball from Starbucks.
You think about the medicine ball from Starbucks?
You had it?
No.
Oh, it's so good.
All right, well, maybe we'll walk over to Starbucks. I think overall, in terms of like supercharger review, you ready?
Yep.
Supercharger review. I mean, it's fine, 250 kilowatts, it's working. But the Starbucks is over there. You got a Caribou coffee, not recommend. But yeah. Anyway, 15 minutes.
Oh, now I really gotta be.
All right, so Starbucks was closed. We gotta go this way. Oh, go, 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 go. Car dependency sucks.
Oh, that guy's going down the wrong side.
No, that's fine.
Oh, that's good. That's true. Okay.
Yeah. Starbucks is closed. I would say this is like one downside of stopping in shopping areas is that if you're doing a late night road trip, good luck.
It's 8:30.
I know. The Starbucks closed at 8:30, so we missed it. We're gonna cross to the middle, get to the median. Target. We got some Skittles. I got some coffee. I got some chocolate.
Caffeine.
We were here for some amount of time. I don't even know. But that's it, because that was the last one for the night. And let's see how we do. We're gonna, 5%. I think we might charge a smidgen more. 5%'s a little low. We'll do, I like to do 10%. Just in case the charger at the hotel decides to not work for us. All right, we're gonna get there with 10%. That's probably good enough. I know it wasn't much, but it's something. So, better be a little safe than sorry, especially since we're charging at a hotel, not a supercharger. I think there's just low trust for me on anything that's not a Tesla supercharger until, I don't know, maybe next year or something like that. Not even close. Not even close. All right, next stop, hotel in Minneapolis.
Oceans and oceans welling up in me. Emotions, emotions, learning how to dance. I'm still drowning. What am I gonna do with all these feelings? Even when the moon cries, leaving us alone, lights fading out. Even when the sun shines.
All right, we made it here. Here's our efficiency for the final leg. We are at our hotel, 415 miles, 155 kilowatt hours. How long did we drive?
5 hours and 7 minutes plus whatever the first part of the trip was. Which I can't
An
remember.
hour and a half or something like that.
So like 6
Hour
hours.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we charged for 45 minutes of that. We're at Courtyard by Marriott in Maple Grove, and there's plenty of Charger boys. So we will 100% get plugged in here. I don't know if I have to download an app or something, but we'll get it all sorted. Yeah, looks like I'm. Oh. Hey, we got it going.
How does it work as far as do you have to unplug or?
No, I mean, so let's see what kind of juice we get. Oh, looks like we're gonna get up to 40 amps. Pretty baller. So yeah, we had to split this trip up into 2 days. I mean, Google Maps says this as a 17-hour drive with no stops, and the longest I've driven is a 14-hour trip to Texas in a single day. So I think that's my limit. Also, our shoot finished the Tuesday before Thanksgiving, and I needed to be in Ohio by noon on Thursday. So we had to get some miles in on Tuesday night as well. Luckily, our shoot finished a bit early, and we made it to Minneapolis at a decent time. Filming is literally the last thing I want to do right now. Hold on, I just want to make sure you heard that correctly. The Tuesday before Thanksgiving, and I needed to be in Ohio by noon on Thursday. Yeah, we're doing a 750-mile drive on one of the busiest travel days of the year as a new EV owner. Past me had never considered this when planning this trip, but let's see if it comes back to bite me. Filming is literally the last thing I want to do right now, but it's we're at like 93%. What is it at? 94%. Preheated the car. Well, maybe not since the door's been open for forever, but the full charge here was pretty good. You know, we got 4 stations and a CCS plug over there, or J1172 or whatever, and then yeah, so we're gonna hit the road. We got 13 hours of this cable is frozen. It's like 26 degrees outside. We got about 11 hours of driving, 1.5 hours of charging, and we're not doing that at 7:30 in the morning. So time for some Starbucks and some Chick-fil-A.
I just wanted to let you know. I'm so glad that I'll have you with me. With you I feel like I'm dreaming, but I'm awake, I'm not here sleeping. By my side you give good company. Left and right, I'll keep you safe. When I'm with you, I won't hesitate.
So when we got here, it was just us and one other person, but it's the day before Thanksgiving, so definitely getting close to having a full supercharger station, huh? Let's check out how much we got. 2 minutes left. We can wait another couple minutes. I was tired of driving anyway. I'm just playing some 007 on the iPad. We have enough to continue our trip. We actually have plenty. It says we're gonna get there with 16%, but with how full this one was, Andre's a little nervous that the next one's gonna be full. But realistically, it's gonna be fun. We could have left it a few minutes ago, and we're gonna get on our way. I think the question's gonna be, what are we gonna get for lunch? And also, how can I not be in this car anymore?
Yeah.
And the Electrify America station is completely full, so sorry guys. Just wait till next year.
Time to go home, or at least move on. Maybe I'll sleep, maybe I'll dream, maybe I'll just walk the streets till I find
first traffic of the trip. Do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, not a whole lot of traffic between Louisville and North Dakota. And yeah, I think it's just the day before Thanksgiving. People are traveling. Makes sense. We're part of that crowd.
Yeah, but we're not traveling for Thanksgiving though.
True.
Excellent commentary, by the way. I appreciate it. It was very insightful.
Yeah, no problem.
Another hopeful sunset and a heartbroken sunrise.
So we are here at the Woodman's Rockford. We're here because the other one in Rockford is a V2, and earlier it was basically full, and so I mean everybody's getting 75 kilowatts. So this one's a V3. It's at a Woodman's, so you know, not nearly as cool, and maybe not as good amenities. So that's I think why not as good amenities. So I think that's why people aren't at this one as much. But we're gonna get charged up and we're gonna figure out where to go next. But we shouldn't have too many more charging stops. But I think the next one is gonna be in Indiana. So we're getting pretty close to home.
We getting there.
We getting there. Yeah, there's still plenty of spaces available. Were you nervous that we wouldn't be able to get a spot somewhere?
Well, here's the thing. My secret is I'm always nervous. No, I think there's plenty of, we looked at the map, there's plenty of superchargers. Even if we got here and there were, all 8 stalls or however many there are, if all of them were full, it feels like we would have been fine driving another, 10 minutes to another spot.
Yeah, it definitely is a little bit confidence inspiring for sure.
Yeah, or being willing to drive to the one that was slower.
That's right.
Even if you were going to get 75
Yeah,
kilowatts or whatever.
75 is better than 0.
Exactly.
All right, so we just finished charging here. We're charged all the way up to 76%. We did that because we don't want to stop in Chicagoland to get a charge, because I'm sure that would be a pain in the butt to find a supercharger. Not just find, but get to the supercharger in Chicago. So we're gonna stop at a Lowe's, get some food, go to the bathroom. But next stop is Indiana after that. Couldn't handle the slamming on the brakes anymore, so I had to drive it out.
I also feel like it wants to be so careful that it will allow too much space.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
And then you just get people cutting you off because
Exactly
it looks
right.
like you're letting people in.
I mean, even here, I wish I could tighten it up a little bit, but it doesn't let me pick how far away it follows.
Yeah.
Autopilot will. So autopilot, I can
true.
pick how
Yeah,
many
you
car
can,
lengths or
right,
whatever,
right.
but then I don't have the automatic lane changes.
Yep.
It's just all a problem.
It's all first world, man.
I should just probably sell this and get an F-150.
That's probably true.
Yeah,
Because then you have no rules. You can just do whatever you want.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely a Cummins diesel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll get on Auto Trader.
Fair Oaks supercharger in Indiana. We got here with 11%, and honestly our most efficient leg of the trip, because we were stuck in Chicago traffic for some time. Tell you what, owning a Tesla makes you better at backing up. That's for sure. Got with 11%, 164 miles. 282 watt-hours per mile. That's pretty solid. Losing some water bottles here. Let's get plugged in. We should only have one stop. I think if we wanted to, we technically could stretch this all the way back to Louisville, but I don't think that's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It is a lot. But we're headed to the cow feed shop here at Fair Oaks Farm. So last time we were here was pretty good. I mean, of all the amenities you can have at a supercharger, it's pretty great, but they do close kind of early.
Yeah.
So we're here at 5:30. I think it should be open another 30 minutes, which is great that they're not closed the day before Thanksgiving. Little stoked on that. That smelled so bad.
It immediately smells like cow pies.
Yeah, we are at a farm. What? Cow feed shop, what do you think?
Coffee's fine. Actually, I'm just.
Yeah,
it's great. Everything's fine.
I mean, it's
I want to.
the coffee's pretty mediocre, but we're definitely over it. We got about 3 hours and 45 more minutes of driving. We got one more 15, 20 minute charge, maybe 15 minutes. I don't know. Depends on how much buffer we want to have when we get back to Louisville.
I don't care about buffer at all.
That's right. You'll care if we run out of power.
True.
What are those? Do they really just charge and then drive over here to go inside instead of just like getting the juice while sitting there?
Absolutely.
Also, it cleared out.
It really
Jeez.
did.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys in Indianapolis. Come on.
What?
It's almost 1,000 miles.
Uh-huh. There it is.
Hey. Okay. What do you think? What do you think? I can't see anything.
Yeah, no, that was my back hurts. Tesla's great. Trevor's been really good. Paul's done a really good job driving.
I haven't driven at all.
Okay, fine. Paul has done a really good job supervising Mr. T. And my back is gone. So
Well, it's also not just been 1,000 miles. It's been 2,400 or whatever it is. So, almost to Indianapolis. Andre's playing some throwbacks. So I'm over it. Andre's over it.
I'm sick of it.
He's sick of it. This is our last supercharger. We only have to be here for like 15 minutes. We got some Panda Express. We had to wait for like 20 minutes because everybody decided they wanted Panda Express to the last second. And now we just have to sit here and enjoy our Panda Express. And then we get to go home.
Yeah. No.
Well, we have to unload equipment
True.
and then drop him off and then plug in. And then
Yes.
tomorrow I drive another 400 miles.
And full disclosure, we're not over it because it's a Tesla and we have to stop and charge. We're over it simply because we've gone, 20... Oh,
Yeah, if anything, we should have
20
stopped more.
yeah, 2,300 miles in the matter of 3 days,
Yeah.
and 4 days, and 2 of those days were spent filming. So
Yeah.
it's just been a long week. It's not the Tesla's fault.
For sure. As you can see, we're over it at this point. The GoPro is dead, so I didn't really get any clips of the driving, but I did manage to get one last clip. There it is. Louisville.
The most
Kentucky.
beautiful city in all the world.
Definitely right now it is. That's for sure.
Right now it
There's a
is.
good hotel.
Right now it is beautiful.
Wow, I'm impressed that it knows what lane it's the right lane. Louisville. Welcome to Kentucky. We missed the sign. Oh well, it's
Dang.
Kentucky. Look at it.
Ain't that pretty?
So there it is. We finished the road trip. We made it back. I dropped Andre off and I got home with 2% remaining. Let's just say I'd been watching some out-of-spec road trips before this. So here you are thinking, good for you. You did what thousands of others have done before. I'm not here for a feel-good story about you just driving around. I'm here for the cold, hard stats. Well, do I have some stats for the 10 of you that are gonna see this? All these stats are from Teslafy, by the way. We drove a total of 1,163 miles from Bismark to Louisville. It cost us $111.21. In there you need to factor that we got free charging at our hotel before we left and free charging at our hotel in the middle. So let's say this was a one-day trip instead. The charge at home before I left would have cost about $7, and at a supercharger it would have cost anywhere from $20 to $25. The same goes for the hotel stop midway. So I'd call this about $141 one-day trip. So we'd used a total of 414 kilowatt hours. I'm using total used instead of total added for all the calculations, because that's what you pay for and that's how much electricity actually gets used. So this comes out to about 390 pounds of CO2. I use electricity maps to calculate the intensity of each charge location, and I use the average for the day instead of like the hour data, which frankly increased this number pretty dramatically. There were a lot of times in the moment when I looked at the map and saw that the power we were using was almost entirely renewable, but I can't get hourly data in the app after the day has already happened. So all of this comes out to a 2.81 mile per kilowatt hour, or a 356 watt hour per mile efficiency. I haven't had the car long enough to know if that's good or bad, but this includes all the power used by the car on the trip for preheating, Sentry mode, battery warming, the climate, etc. And the car was packed full of film gear and 2 grown adults. Our total trip time was 19 hours and 55 minutes. There were 2 non-charging stops in there, which were about 15 to 20 minutes each for food and a bathroom break, which leads to a grand total of 2 hours and 19 minutes of charging. And add like 40 minutes to this number if you're converting it to a one-day trip, which when you look at this, it kind of feels like a lot on its own. But let's compare it to some of the road trips I've done in the truck in the past. We would have stopped for about 5 to 6 times for an hour and 25 or an hour and 40 minutes. I'll make another road trip video breaking down how I kind of got to this number another time. That means you're spending an hour and 20-ish minutes extra in the EV, more than you would in the truck, assuming it's a single day trip. Which, what's kind of funny is as you split the trip into more days, the more competitive an EV gets because you remove a fuel stop, quote unquote, because you can fill up at the hotel. Practically though, I could not have made this trip and only stopping for an hour and 40 minutes. I was so over being in the car, I definitely didn't mind stopping just a little bit more to stretch my legs. So the driving time and everything, that's all cool, but how much did it actually cost? Here you can see the trip totals from the EV that we took compared to a theoretical gas car trip. I used a $3 a gallon average because that's about what I saw on the drive. Sometimes it was $2.90, sometimes it was $3.25. I want to preface this by saying that these are road trip numbers. This cost comparison is much different when you're looking at home charging. So compared to the truck, the Tesla is a slam dunk. It also saved about half a ton of CO2. The Maverick Hybrid was another vehicle we were considering, and at least in terms of today's gas prices, the Maverick wins in the cost category, but just slightly. The Prius is a very different car. It's a better comparison to the Model 3, but let's say you just wanted to get the most efficient gas car that people end up buying. The Prius wins hands down. It is at least half the cost at today's gas and electricity pricing, and on the CO2 front, it's pretty similar. Now, a lot of that is going to be impacted by the energy mix where you're going, and the Prius will always have the same carbon output per mile. An EV, on the other hand, gets greener as the grid gets greener. So even in this comparison, it's likely that the Tesla used less CO2 than shown here because of the energy timing I mentioned earlier.
Do I regret an EV at this point? No, I mean, I'm saving a ton of money on gas compared to the truck and pollution. And somebody who's looking at a Model Y is probably looking at like a 25 mpg car anyway, so this is still way better on pollution than something like that. But that wasn't the question of the video. The real question is, should I have bought a Chevy Bolt? Well, I mean, let's just say I'd be taking the truck on that trip if we had a Chevy Bolt. So I'm not trying to like rag on the Bolt too much here, okay? I could buy 3 of them used for the price that I could get this car for. And I don't want to put too fine of a point on it, but I arrived home at midnight with 2% battery left, right? My charge rating that I set was 90%, and the next morning I got up at 6 o'clock and I had my full 90% car pre-conditioned and everything. So in 1 week, I took a 3,000 mile EV road trip as somebody who is a new EV owner. Like this isn't rocket science. My suggestion to people who are EV curious, which maybe isn't necessarily even the target audience for a video like this, but is to rent a Model 3 or something and take it on a 150-mile road trip one way and back. You'll get a chance to charge it, experience it, all that sort of stuff. And the reason I say all that is because experiencing it in person is different. It's different than watching these videos. It's different than reading the reviews. The only way you're going to know for yourself if it works is if you try it out. Anyway. I'll see you next time when I take a 987-mile road trip one way to rural Texas, as if, driving to Bismark and back wasn't enough. I was not recording. I'm recording now. That was dumb.